There is a silence that screams louder than any noise, a silence that you have felt in the deepest hours of the night, when the distractions of the world fade away, and you are left with nothing but the beating of your own heart. In that silence, a question arises, a question that has haunted the human soul since the dawn of time. Why do I feel like a stranger in a strange land? Why does this world with all its noise and colors and dramas feel like a vivid dream from which I am trying to wake up? If you have ever felt a pull towards something you cannot name, a nostalgia for a place you have never visited in this lifetime, then listen closely. You are not broken. You are not lost. You are remembering. Today we stand before the most guarded secret of the Hermetic and Gnostic traditions. We are going to speak of the monad, the ultimate source, the one reality from which all souls descend, and to which only a few are destined to return. Thoth, the Atlantean, the thrice great Hermes Trismegistus, warned us thousands of years ago in the emerald tablets and the Corpus Hermeticum. He spoke of a portal not made of stone or gold, but of frequency and light. A portal that leads back to the monad, back to the source of all that is. But here is the warning that makes the uninitiated tremble. This portal does not open for everyone. It is not a gate that can be forced open by intellect or wealth, or even by good deeds alone. Thoth warned that the portal of the monad only opens for those who carry the specific energetic signature, those who have awakened the spark of the divine fire within. These are the chosen ones, not chosen by an external God who judges from a throne in the clouds, but chosen by their own internal recognition of who they truly are. Are you one of them? Do you carry the signs of the return? Today we will unravel the mystery of the monad. We will explore the 7 undeniable signs that you are being called back to the source, and we will reveal the practical keys to unlock the portal that Thoth guarded so fiercely. This is not just a video. This is a remembering. This is a call to the pneumatics, the spirits who are trapped in matter, but who have not forgotten their wings. Prepare yourself, soul traveler, for we are about to cross the threshold into the forbidden knowledge that governs the destiny of your eternal spirit. To understand the portal, we must first understand the destination. What is the monad? In the ancient Gnostic and Hermetic cosmologies, the monad is not merely God as the religious masses understand him. It is not an old man with a beard. It is not a being with personality or anger or jealousy. The monad is the one, the absolute, the infinite source of pure light and consciousness that existed before time, before space, before the universe was birthed into the chaotic dance of matter. Imagine a boundless ocean of pure white light, an ocean where there is no separation, no you and no me, only the ecstatic state of perfect oneness. This is the monad. It is the pleroma, the fullness of the divine. Hermes Trismegistus teaches us that everything we see in this physical universe is a mental projection, a lower density reflection of that one true reality. But something happened, a separation, a fragmentation. Through a cosmic drama described in secret texts like the Apocryphon of John Sparks, of this divine light descended into density. They fell through the dimensions, through the celestial spheres, putting on layers of matter, layers of ego, layers of forgetfulness, until they arrived here in the physical world. These sparks are us. You are a fragment of the monad encased in flesh, wandering through a labyrinth of illusions that we call light. But the tragedy is not the fall. The tragedy is the forgetting. Thoth described this state as spiritual drunkenness. He said that the souls entering the body become intoxicated by the senses. They become drunk on the colors, the sounds, the pleasures, and the pains of the material world. They forget their origin. They forget that they are royalty from the kingdom of light, and they begin to believe that they are merely the body. They believe that they are their name, their job, their bank account, their trauma. This is the great sleep, the sleep of the masses. And the monad remains silent, waiting for the spark to sober up. However, there is a specific group of souls for whom the drunkenness never completely takes hold. Thoth and the Gnostics called them the Pneumatics, or the spiritual ones. These are the souls who, even while walking in the heavy mud of this world, feel an unshakable connection to the source. The portal of the monad is the energetic frequency that allows these souls to bypass the Archons, the guardians of the threshold, and merge back with the infinite. But Thoth warned that this portal is guarded by the law of vibration. Like attracts like. To enter the monad, you must become like the monad. You must vibrate at the frequency of truth. This brings us to the terrifying and liberating realization. The portal is not a place you go to when you die. It is a state of being you achieve while you are alive. If you die with the consciousness of a sleepwalker, you will simply dream another dream. You will be recycled back into the wheel of samsara, the cycle of birth and death. But if you activate the remembrance, if you align with the monad while you breathe, then death becomes not an end, but a liberation, a walking through the open door. The question that burns in the chest of every seeker is simple. Am I one of them? Is the portal opening for me? There are signs, subtle at first, but growing in intensity as your vibration rises. Thoth spoke of these signs as the marks of the initiate. They are not physical marks on your skin, but energetic imprints on your soul. If you recognize these signs in your life, do not ignore them. They are the call of the monad, trying to wake you up before the harvest. The first sign that the monad portal is calling to you is the feeling of the great alienation. This is not merely social anxiety or depression, although it is often misdiagnosed as such by the modern world. This is a profound metaphysical sensation that you do not belong here. Since childhood, you may have looked at the people around you, at the systems of society, at the way humans interact, and felt that you were watching a strange play for which you were not given the script. You participate, yes, because you must survive. You smile, you work, you pay taxes. But deep down there is a whisper that says, this is not my home. This feeling of being a stranger is not a flaw. It is a credential. In the Gnostic texts, it is said that the soul that belongs to the world loves the world, but the soul that belongs to the light is a stranger to the darkness. Thoth teaches that this discomfort you feel is actually your internal compass functioning perfectly. Imagine a fish that has been taken out of the ocean and placed in a tank of mud. The fish suffers not because it is sick, but because it knows the ocean exists. Your suffering, your feeling of alienation, is the memory of the ocean of light. It is the monad calling you home. You have felt this isolation, this inability to fully merge with the collective trance of society. Take heart. It means your frequency is incompatible with the illusion. It means you are ready to leave. The second sign is the piercing of the veil. This manifests as an intense, almost overwhelming intuition and an ability to see patterns that others miss. While the masses are distracted by the surface level of events, the news, the political dramas, the celebrity scandals, you see the strings. You see the energetic currents moving behind the facade. Thoth said, "As above, so below," but he also implied that those with eyes to see will perceive the mechanism of the universe. You might find that you can read people instantly. You know when someone is lying not because you are a detective, but because their vibration feels discordant to you. You feel the energy of places. You walk into a room and you know if an argument happened there 5 minutes ago. This sensitivity is often overwhelming. You might have tried to numb it, to shut it down, to be normal, but the chosen ones cannot shut it down. This is the activation of the third eye, the pineal gland perceiving the subtle realms. The monad is pure consciousness, and as you draw closer to the portal, your own consciousness begins to expand. You start to experience synchronicities, those meaningful coincidences that defy statistical probability. You think of a concept and a book about it falls off the shelf. You see repeating numbers like 1111 or 333 everywhere. These are not accidents. They are glitches in the matrix. They are the monad winking at you, reminding you that reality is fluid and that you are in a dialogue with the universe. Thoth warned that the uninitiated would call this madness. They would call you crazy for seeing meaning where they see only chaos. But the initiate knows that coincidence is the language of the divine. If your life is becoming a tapestry of synchronicities, it is because you are approaching the event horizon of the portal. The gravity of the monad is pulling you in, and time and space are bending around you. Before we dive into the third and most dangerous sign, I ask you to pause for a moment. Look at your life. Feel the rhythm of your own existence. If these words are vibrating in your bones, if they feel like a memory returning rather than new information learned, then you are in the right place. This channel, the Enchanted Archive, was built as a beacon for souls like you. We are gathering the scattered sparks. If you wish to walk this path of high magic and forbidden wisdom with us, subscribe to the channel now. Leave a comment below declaring "I am awakening." Let the algorithm know that the seekers are rising. Your interaction is the signal fire to other souls lost in the dark. Now, let us speak of the third sign, the rejection of false authority. This is the sign that often gets the chosen ones into trouble. From a young age, there is an innate resistance to arbitrary rules. You respect truth. You respect natural law. You respect wisdom. But you have zero tolerance for control structures that demand obedience without legitimacy. Whether it is religious dogma, political tyranny, or societal pressure to conform, the spirit of the chosen one rebels. Why does this happen? Because the pneumatic soul remembers the true king. It remembers the sovereignty of the monad. When you know deep in your DNA that you are a fracture of the divine source, that you are a creator god in training, then bowing down to human idols or fear-based systems feels impossible. Thoth warned that the Archons, the rulers of this material realm, maintain their power through fear and submission. They want you to believe you are small, powerless, and dependent on them for safety. The chosen one sees through this lie. This rebellion is not about being a troublemaker. It is about energetic integrity. You cannot submit to a lie when you carry the frequency of truth. This path is lonely. because society rewards obedience. It rewards those who sleep comfortably in the cage. But you are the wolf who chews through the leash. You question everything. Who wrote the holy books? Who benefits from the war? Who controls the money? Who told us that death is the end? This relentless questioning is the chisel breaking the chains of the mind. The monad is absolute freedom, and to enter its portal you must become free in your mind first. You must become a sovereign being. The fourth sign is the dark night of the soul. This is the test of fire. Thoth and the alchemists spoke of the nigredo, the blackening, the putrefaction. Before the gold can be made, the lead must be destroyed. Many people believe that spiritual awakening is all love and light and bliss. This is a deception sold by the New Age marketplace. True awakening is destructive. It destroys the ego. It destroys the false identity. It destroys the life you built on the foundation of illusions. You may have gone through a period, or perhaps you are in it right now, where everything crumbled. You lost a relationship. You lost a job. You lost your health. Or perhaps you simply lost your will to play the game. You were plunged into a darkness so deep that you thought you would never see the light again. You felt abandoned by God. You felt absolute despair. Why is this a sign of the chosen? Because the monad portal is a fire that burns away everything that is not real. The ego cannot go through the portal. The persona, the mask you wear for the world, cannot go through. So the universe, in its fierce mercy, strips it away. The dark night of the soul is the process of emptying the vessel. You are being hollowed out so that the divine light can fill you. The pain you feel is the breaking of the shell that encased your spirit. Thoth teaches that only in the deepest silence of the tomb can the resurrection occur. If you have faced the abyss and survived, if you have been broken and rebuilt yourself with stronger materials, then you are being prepared for the high voltage of the monad. The fifth sign is the magnetic attraction to the esoteric. While others are satisfied with surface-level entertainment or rigid religious dogmas, you have a hunger that cannot be sated by the ordinary. You find yourself drawn to the mysteries. You read about ancient civilizations, quantum physics, metaphysics, healing modalities, and the nature of consciousness. You are watching a video about Thoth and the monad right now, while the rest of the world watches distractions. This thirst for gnosis, for direct knowledge, is the memory of your heritage. The monad is the ultimate intelligence, and as its fractal, you crave understanding. You are not satisfied with believing, you want to know. Thoth says, in the Emerald Tablets, wisdom is power, and power is wisdom, one with each other, perfecting the whole. You are gathering the keys. Every book you read, every meditation you practice, every deep conversation you have, is you collecting the scattered fragments of Osiris, collecting the pieces of your own soul. This intellectual and spiritual hunger is the fuel that propels you toward the portal. It is the sign that your mind is tuning into the universal mind. And as this hunger grows, it leads to the sixth sign, the transcendence of duality. We live in a world of polarity, good and evil light, and dark male and female, left and right. The matrix operates on conflict. It keeps the masses fighting each other, trapped in the pendulum swing of emotion. But the chosen one begins to see from the center. You start to understand the Hermetic law of polarity, that opposites are identical in nature, but different in degree. You stop judging things as purely good or purely bad, and start seeing them as necessary parts of the evolution. You develop a level of detachment. This does not mean you do not care. It means you are no longer enslaved by the drama. You can observe the chaos of the world without letting it lower your vibration. You become the eye of the storm. Thoth calls this the balance. He says only by balance may you overcome. When you achieve neutrality, you become invisible to the Archons. They feed on emotional reaction. If they cannot provoke you, they cannot control you. This state of inner equilibrium is the prerequisite for entering the portal, because the monad is the unity that transcends all duality. The seventh sign is the most subtle, but the most powerful. It is the urge to serve, not out of guilt, not out of a desire for recognition, but out of an overflowing love. As you get closer to the source, you realize that you are not separate from the other sparks. You see the suffering of humanity, and you feel a fierce compassion. You want to help. You want to heal. You want to awaken others. This is the Bodhisattva vow, the realization that you cannot fully enter the light until you have helped others find the path. You become a lighthouse. You do not need to stand on a stage and preach. Your very presence changes the vibration of the room. People tell you that they feel calm around you. Strangers tell you their life stories. Animals are drawn to you. This is because you are becoming a conduit for the monad's light. You are becoming a portal yourself. Thoth reminded us that the true master is the servant of all. If you feel this mission, this call to be of service to the evolution of consciousness, it is the final confirmation. You are ready, but recognizing the signs is only the first step. Knowing you are standing in front of the door is useless if you do not have the key to open it. Thoth left us the instructions. He left us the practical techniques to turn the lock. This is where the work begins. This is where we move from theory to alchemy. How do we stabilize this frequency? How do we stop falling back into the sleep? How do we navigate the final challenges that guard the threshold? The process requires a radical transformation of your daily life. It requires the mastery of energy, the control of the mind, and the cultivation of the solar body. We are going to detail exactly how to perform the technique of the inner pillar, how to silence the internal dialogue that drains your power, and how to use the law of resonance to anchor the monad's frequency in your physical cells. The path is narrow and it is steep, but the view from the top is infinite. You have walked a long way through many lifetimes to arrive at this moment. Do not stop now. The portal is pulsating. The guardians are watching, and the monad is waiting. We have identified the signs. We have awakened the memory. In the next stage of this journey, we must delve into the practical application of the Hermetic keys. We must learn how to construct the vehicle of light that can traverse the portal safely. You have seen the signs. You have felt the call vibrating in your bones. You have recognized yourself as a stranger in this land, a spark of the eternal fire trapped in the heavy clay of matter. But knowing the path is not the same as walking it. Thoth, the great Atlantean master, warned us that the moment the soul decides to awaken, the prison walls tighten. The matrix does not let its captives go easily. As you stand now at the precipice, ready to turn your back on the illusion and face the blinding light of the monad, you must understand the nature of the resistance you will face. This is the phase where the traveler is tested. This is where the chosen ones are forged in the fire. In the ancient mystery schools of Egypt and Greece, this stage was known as the trial of the threshold. You see, the universe operates on the law of balance. When you begin to raise your frequency to match the monad, you create a disturbance in the lower field. The forces that govern this reality, often called the Archons by the Gnostics or the guardians of the threshold in Hermeticism, will notice your light. They are the gatekeepers of the matrix, and their job is to keep the energy within the system. They do not come with pitchforks and horns. They come as distractions. They come as sudden doubts. They come as old addictions resurfacing just when you thought you were free. You might find that the moment you commit to this path, chaos erupts in your life. Your car breaks down, your family argues with you, a sudden wave of fatigue hits you during meditation. Do not fear this. Thoth teaches us that this resistance is actually a confirmation. It is the friction caused by your movement against the current of sleep. If you were floating downstream with the dead fish, you would feel no resistance. You feel the pressure because you are swimming upstream towards the source. To pass through the monad portal, you need more than just intention. You need a vehicle. You need armor. And you need the 3 keys of mastery that Thoth inscribed into the very fabric of Hermetic wisdom. These are not intellectual concepts to be debated in universities. They are energetic operations that must be performed in the laboratory of your own body and mind. The first key is the mastery of silence, or the neutralization of the internal noise. The monad speaks in a frequency that is omnipresent but extremely subtle. It is the sound of silence. But the modern mind is a storm of chaos. It is constantly narrating, judging, replaying the past, and fearing the future. This internal dialogue is the primary mechanism that keeps you tethered to the lower dimensions. It consumes your vital energy, your louche, leaving you with nothing left to fuel your ascent. Thoth advises the initiate to practice the death of the false self before the physical body dies. This is done through the practice of deep, radical silence. This is not just sitting quietly with your eyes closed. It is the active hunting of thoughts. You must become the predator of your own mind. When a thought arises, you do not fight it. You do not analyze it. You simply observe it and starve it of attention. You return your focus to the breath, to the center of your being. Imagine your mind as a turbulent lake. The moon, which represents the monad, is reflected on the surface. If the water is agitated, the reflection is distorted, broken into 1,000 pieces. You cannot see the truth. But if you can still the water, if you can make the surface like a mirror, the reflection becomes perfect. You can see the moon as it truly is. This state of mental stillness is the prerequisite for entry. Without it, the intensity of the monad would shatter your psyche. You must cultivate a silence so deep that it becomes a physical sensation, a vacuum in which the divine presence can rush in. The second key is the transmutation of polarization. We spoke earlier of the law of duality. The world swings like a pendulum between pleasure and pain, loss and gain, praise and blame. The masses are enslaved by this swing. They are happy when things go well and devastated when things go wrong. They are leaves blowing in the wind. To open the portal, you must become the trunk of the tree. You must find the center point. Thoth calls this the state of balance. In ancient Egypt, this was the concept of Mat, the weighing of the heart. To pass into the afterlife, the heart had to be lighter than a feather. What makes the heart heavy? Attachment, emotional reactivity, holding on to grudges, fears, and desires. Every time you react emotionally to the illusion, you add weight to your soul. You anchor yourself to density. The technique here is the practice of the observer. When tragedy strikes, you feel the pain, but you do not become the pain. When victory comes, you feel the joy, but you do not become the pride. You remain the witness behind the experience. This is what it means to be in the world, but not of it. You are walking through the fire, but you are not burning. This energetic neutrality builds a force field around you. It makes you slippery to the Archons. They cannot hook into you if you have no jagged edges of reaction. You become smooth polished, like a diamond, and ready to reflect the light of the monad. The third key is the construction of the solar body. This is the great secret of alchemy. The physical body is made of dust, and to dust it shall return. It cannot enter the monad. It is too dense. You must build a second body, a body of light, a vehicle that can traverse the dimensions. The Merkaba. In the Emerald Tablets, Thoth describes the process of shifting your consciousness from the brain to the heart, and then expanding it outwards. This requires the conservation and transmutation of your life force energy. In many traditions, this is the sexual energy, the creative force of the universe. If you waste this energy on frivolous pursuits, on cheap dopamine hits, you will not have enough fuel to build the solar body. You must harness this fire. Visualize it rising up your spine, activating the energy centers, the chakras, turning them from spinning wheels into radiant suns. You must visualize yourself every day as a being of light. This is not just imagination. Imagination is the prelude to reality. By holding the image of your light body, you are pouring energy into its mold. You are feeding it. Layer by layer, day by day, you are constructing the vessel that will carry your consciousness through the portal when the time comes. This solar body is your spacesuit for the higher dimensions. Without it, the radiation of the Absolute would be unbearable. Now, soul traveler, we approach the climax of the journey. We approach the portal itself. What happens when the silence is complete, when the balance is held, and the solar body is activated? The portal opens, but it does not look like a door in a wall. It manifests as a dissolution. This is the part that no one warns you about. The experience of the monad feels like death. Not the death of the body, but the death of the ego. As you approach the event horizon of the source, the little self, the identity you have spent lifetimes building, begins to disintegrate. The fear can be paralyzing. The ego will scream. It will tell you to turn back. It will tell you that you are disappearing, that you are ceasing to exist. This is the terror of the threshold. Thoth warns that only the brave may pass. You must have the courage to let go of everything you think you are. You must be willing to become nothing so that you can become everything. It is a surrender so total that it feels like falling into an abyss. But the secret is that there is no bottom. You do not crash. You float, and then the light comes. It is not a light that you see with your eyes. It is a light that you become. It is the clear light of reality. In this state, there is no time. A second is an eternity, and an eternity is a second. You remember the beginning of the universe. You remember why you chose to descend. You remember the faces of your soul family. You feel the infinite love of the monad, a love so fierce and unconditional that it burns away every scar, every trauma, every doubt you have ever carried. You understand that you never left. You were never lost. You were just dreaming a very complex dream. The separation was an illusion. You are the monad experiencing itself. You are the ocean in a drop. When you return from this state, and you must return for your work in the body is not yet done. You are never the same. You have been initiated. You have the mark of the eternal on your forehead. You walk through the world, but you are no longer of the world. You see the games people play, the wars, the greed, the drama, and you feel only compassion. You know how the story ends. You know that everything is returning to the light. This is the destiny of the chosen ones. This is why you are here. Not to fix the world, not to fight the world, but to transcend the world, and by doing so, to lift the frequency of the entire collective. You are the portal. The monad is not a place out there. It is the core of your own heart. By clearing the debris, by mastering the mind, by opening the heart, you become the open door through which the divine can enter this reality. Thoth left us these warnings not to frighten us, but to prepare us. He knew the density of this age would be heavy. He knew we would forget, but he also knew that the spark is indestructible. If you have listened this far, if you have felt the resonance of these words, it is because the memory is awake. The portal is open. The guardians are stepping aside. The choice now is yours. Will you go back to sleep, back to the comfort of the illusion, back to the numbness of the masses? Or will you step through the fire? Will you do the work? Will you embrace the silence, the balance, and the light? The Enchanted Archive is more than a channel. It is a school for the soul. We are building a community of awakened sparks, a network of light across the globe. If you are ready to take this mission seriously, if you are ready to be the hero of your own cosmic journey, then join us. Subscribe to the channel. Like this video to help the algorithm find the other lost souls. And most importantly, leave a comment below with the word monad. Let this word be your seal. Let it be your declaration to the universe that you are ready to return to the source. Share this video with someone who needs to remember. The time is short. The harvest is near. Do not let the distraction of the world steal your crown. You are royalty. You are eternal. You are the light of the world. Thank you for watching, and until we meet again, in the silence of the absolute, remember, as above, so below, as within, so without. The portal is you.